Hi everyone, I'm Carolee McGrath. My husband John and I have been married for 23 years and we have 5 beautiful children. And I was asked to share a little bit of a testimony about what the Eucharist means to me. And I have to be honest with you, if you asked me that question about when I was in my 20s, I probably would have said, well, not much. And I wouldn't have said that in a disrespectful way. I just clearly didn't understand what the Eucharist was, truly body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. I probably would have said, oh, what do you mean, that thing that we do at church on Sundays, you mean communion? But that's as far as my knowledge went. Now, it's not because I didn't have the best CCD teachers in the world, Joan and Peter Salerno, my parents. They were awesome, and of course, my mother would have told me what the Eucharist truly was, that when you receive the Eucharist, you're truly receiving Jesus Christ, and that is a sacrament and that is life-changing. But for whatever reason, I must have been asleep in her class because it didn't click for many years. And when you look at the big picture of that and we move into my 20s, you see that my attendance record at Mass was spotty at best. Sure, I would go to Mass if I had to sing, but I wasn't going to receive the Eucharist. That connection wasn't made. Now, my husband and I are both cradle Catholics, and a few years down the road, we're married and we have children, and we signed our son up, Jack, for St. Mary's Preschool in Bethel, Connecticut, a beautiful, beautiful community. And I thought, well, if he's going to a Catholic preschool, I should probably show up to Mass. So we started going, and guess what we found out? We loved it. We met friends, there was community, they had donuts after Mass. I even went to confession after 17 years after making my confirmation, and that's a topic for another video at another point. But we really started to come back to church. And when we missed church, we felt like there was something missing in our lives. A few years later, we moved back to Western Massachusetts and belonged to St. Cecilia's in Wilbraham. And my sister invited me to a prayer group at that time. And I met these wonderful, most beautiful women, and we prayed together and we read the Bible, and they really started to explain to me and sort of catechize and help me understand what the Eucharist was. They re-explained what my mother had explained so many years ago. You see, Catholicism for Dummies was written for me and probably for a lot of cradle Catholics. And when I told my mother, hey Ma, did you know that the Eucharist is truly Jesus? In her Italian, she got a little bit mad. She said, of course I knew that, and I told you that. But she was also overjoyed that her adult children were practicing Catholics, and happy Catholics, and Catholics who wanted to be there. So I share this because I think there's a lot of you who are probably in my same position, in the same boat. And I know I have a lot of family and friends who are not practicing Catholics right now. And this is not a Catholic guilt trip, and let me tell you, as anybody who knows me, I'm very good at that. Instead, this is an invitation to come back. Once I figured out what I was missing, I didn't want to miss anymore. So my husband and I are really diligent about making sure that we go to church and we bring our children to church each week. And yeah, we're busy, we're all busy. And I don't say that as a goody two-shoes. I say it because I want my children to experience that same joy that I have experienced. And I think they are. And I'm so grateful to God for that. So yes, this is an invitation, and I ask you this question. If I told you you could do one thing that would change your life and maybe even change the lives of your family and your children and the world for the better, wouldn't you do it? Of course you would. Of course you would, and that's what the Eucharist does. So consider this your invite, and don't walk, run back to church. Jesus is waiting.